Hi, Dr. Allison JK here. Happy to be with you under our second Capricorn full moon, 2 months in a row, the full moon in the same sign. And there is this energy in the air that I have been tuning into, frankly, since the end of 2023 and looking at and perceiving the energies of 2024. And this is a breakthrough year, unlike any other in this here year of the dragon. And we were given this is a really rare opportunity to have two full moons in the same sign. It happens very infrequently. And the theme of it has been to go beyond old patterns and break through old patterns. And I mean like the most persnickety karmic ones. We have that term in Sanskrit from yogic philosophy called samskaras, and it's one or two patterns that each of us is born with here as a soul in a body to evolve beyond. It's our most persnickety patterns that show up the most in our lives, and definitely our family dynamics, drama free or drama ridden, whatever they may be, help set us up to have for the rest of our lives until we get over them. Some of us may have needed crisis at a physical level or a financial level or a career level or a family level or an interpersonal level or any kind of divorce, anything like that, in order to break through the ego mind, as we call it in Buddhist meditation, personality level structure of ourselves, to go beyond that. That's the first level of meaning, going beyond, and really understanding from a mountaintop or even satellite perspective why it is we're in this space again with the same pattern. Many of you who are watching this video have already been working on your patterns for years, and as you can see my hand going into a spiral, it is a sense of, like, I use the metaphor a lot as a ball of yarn, untangling the ball of yarn. The ancient symbol that appears on many, many sacred sites, particularly those of the feminine, is the spiral. You know, we have the expansion as we clear a level of this and untangle that ball of yarn even more, getting the core root of it, going behind, getting to more of the shadow work, breaking through, releasing that, coming around the front again, now at a larger expanse of the spiral as we ascend. Yeah. And so you can also think of that as the Kundalini rising. And so, but the Kundalini also goes down, right? Because we're here in bodies. And this is all about living better on planet Earth now, individually and then collectively. And so one of the aspects that I feel when I tuned in ahead of time of seeing what would help the most is, I know that a lot of the time I see a lot of breakthroughs able to happen after enough clearings and activations to get to the thoughts that you don't even hear. So one of the things that I hear the most from people coming to work with me through all the years of working with me, I thought I had been done with this. I thought I had gotten over this, or I thought I had forgiven this person for this. And so that's the rational, clear thinking mind, ego mind, as you can hear the thoughts. But it's more like 3/4 of the thoughts you actually have, the beliefs you actually have, are not the ones you consciously hear, nor even the ones, if you're a meditator, that you observe in meditation. So much, particularly in the first at least 15 minutes of a 30-minute meditation, are about the disciplining of the hard wiring. And depending on how long you've been meditating, for some people it's only the first third out of the 30 minutes. And it's only like the last third, the 20 to 30 minutes, that we're really working with the higher self and in the expanse of possibly bringing forward some of flushing of the subconscious. And yet even that isn't thoughts that we hear cognitively that we can understand. It's energetic flushing of the subconscious. So the clearings and activations that I do help move people beyond that, as does the reframing. So this idea of reframing, here is an example. Somebody who I love reached out to me. She is going on her first international trip, and she didn't want to worry her family, but she was feeling a little bit anxious about it. And so she reached out to me to talk about it. And so one of the things that I did was I redirected her and said, okay, so here you are in the weeks leading up to what you're going to be leaving behind, what you're not going to be having for that week that you're over there, and then dealing with the actual first international flight when you're not necessarily a fan of flying, particularly after the last week when all the computers went down worldwide. But what about where you're going? And then I started to list some of the stuff, because I've been there many times where she's going, of what excites me there. And then I suggested she start looking up something there. So she starts looking forward, right? Instead of into the feeling the resistance and the anxiety and what she's leaving behind. And so that reframe, remembering that excitement, nervousness is the same physiological reaction in our body. And when I tuned in on the solstice event of June last month, there was a clearing and activation I did when I was tapping into the energetics of beyond, going beyond what we know, all of us individually and collectively, that we are in a year of we're going beyond what we already know. And that energetic was like nothing I know this is going to sound probably really obvious, but working with energy and actually bringing it in so that the energy matches the words and they're not just empty words, but there's resonance and embodiment of the concept. When I touched into that energy of going beyond, it was phenomenal what's coming in. And so I know too that one of the other aspects, as we become more of a vibrational backdrop and more into quantum physics as our foundation rather than Newtonian physics, which was much more physicalized and gravity geared, everything's much more waves and harmonics and sound, because that's how energy acts before it becomes a physicalized piece of particle or matter, is feeling, tone, right? That's why sound healing has gotten so much bigger. So if we look at our feeling and our tone, and we do our best to engage that imagination, which Einstein considered our most important facet, to imagine what it is we want to feel when we have that thing manifested, even though we haven't had that yet. So it's potentially a challenge to project how we might feel. But you can do it nonetheless, right? How you want to feel, because everything that we desire actually has behind it a feeling that we want to feel when we have that event or that thing or that situation occur, right? So tuning into that feeling that you want to feel and threading that more in. Now, this isn't rocket science. It isn't a breakthrough. People have heard this in the manifesting world. But what I'm saying is coupling that with the reframe, the redirect, continually looking to going beyond what you currently know, what you have experienced, and what this limiting pattern has been bringing to you. And coming out of all of that resistance and the fighting against, because most likely you're battling against it to make it stop or get over it because you hate it. And looking towards what it is you desire and adopting as best you can a feeling tone for that which you desire, and retaining your focus on that, redirecting and coming back to the projection into what it is you desire, using our projection capacities to our benefit, instead of, how people use projections and throw them on each other, and when they're not even ours, like, who does this belong to? But now using projection, instead of looking at it from that perspective, looking at it as it's the power it actually also is. So we are in an I hate to use such a commonly, I hardly ever use the word amazing, and now it's the same with unprecedented, but really considering all that has gone on so far this year and what is still to come, we are really in a brand new time where we are co-creating our individual realities and our collective realities for this new era. This is the breakthrough year. This is the turning point year. And that does require some cojones. Yeah, some new choices, some risk taking, and I bet you now is the time more than ever before. I don't know that I can say that reliably, like ever, but it really feels like now is a great time to make more risky choices, to take more risks, because it seems like there's more benefit and more payoff when we do go beyond. Namaste. And by the way, never do I give advice without backing it up with energy medicine. So if you want to, you can go to my website, to the shop, and buy a product that will help you feel that feeling more and continue that reframing and redirect with getting to the unconscious and subconscious blocks that you don't even know you have around that area of life. I'll put my shop link down below, because it's easy to espouse wisdom and spout off suggestions. Always I couple that with the energy medicine clearings and activations so that you can feel that it is possible and be that much closer to breaking through. This is breakthrough time.